Okay, I think everyone is ready for the next topic. And let's welcome Andrei.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrei, and I'm working as Sitecore developer for Brimit, mostly specializing in e-commerce projects. Was worked with as Sitecore MVP previous years, and right now I'm Sitecore Technical MVP. And today my topic will be about getting started with Sitecore OrderCloud and Headstart. As you know, maybe you already heard that this year on 1st of April, Sitecore announced that it has completed its acquisition with 4451. There was also a few more acquisitions like Moosend and new one, Message Sending, for example. For the commerce, for me it looks like a good step forward for Sitecore because it's basically new one product which we joined Sitecore family, Sitecore products for SaaS projects. As you know, that Sitecore wants to go with SaaS, and it's really good that we have this sort of acquisition. What is basically Sitecore OrderCloud? Sitecore OrderCloud, it's like they call it like B2B to C, business to business to client, commerce and marketplace development platform. It provides a lot of powerful features how we can build B2B commerce solutions on top of this platform, and of course B2C solutions with a flexible API first headless approach and architecture. This one product of Sitecore, I would say, I don't want to in current presentation to compare the existing Sitecore Commerce product which Sitecore has with the Sitecore OrderCloud, because there are such differences. I mean, some how and when we should choose OrderCloud or Sitecore Commerce. In this presentation, I will just cover for the developers what is the best way to start with OrderCloud, what you need to know, how you can extend the functionality, what Sitecore Cloud provides out of the box, what tools we have for that, and so on. And we'll do the demo in the end of this presentation, and I will show you how the Sitecore OrderCloud portal looks like, what is the possibility, what you can do there, and also I will do the demo of Sitecore Headstart. This is something similar to what Sitecore Commerce has, like a storefront and BizFix site. These two separate applications to manage commerce entities and buyers user experience. OrderCloud supports this sort of modern architecture. It calls like a match architecture, means that it's both microservices, API first, cloud native, and headless architecture. Match technologies provide the possibility to build pluggable, scalable, traceable, and can be some middleware on top of this platform. So in case of microservices at core, the clouds can be easily integrated with similar architecture services with different middlewares, third-party services. API first platform, it provides, would say, like a powerful RESTful API, which you can which is based on HTTP, which and you can manipulate with all these commerce entities via HTTP requests. Cloud native infrastructure, it's also very good. It's easy to upgrade, so keep everything in cloud, and you don't need to think how you can provision your environments, your commerce engine in cloud, so everything is ready. And the headless architecture, once it provides powerful RESTful API, it will not be difficult to use and together and show everything on the front end side with a limited, I would say, backend development. But it of course depends on complexity of the project. On this slide, as you can see, this is OrderCloud platform architecture. It was divided into some different layers. In the middle, as you can see here, this is a RESTful API what OrderCloud provides for the developer tools. It's already in place, interactive console. You can use something similar if you're familiar with Swagger. Provides a bit similar interface on the portal, which I will show a bit later. Some different SDKs and starter applications. It's mostly for, like I already mentioned, starter kit, SDKs for .NET, JavaScript SDK, extensible data model. It means that we can extend the existing entities in the system, not only products, but also users, categories, catalogs, suppliers, etc. Webhooks and integration services are basically the major part how we can extend and build our middleware, which will be responsible for some complex logic on top of OrderCloud. And everything here, yeah, some commerce features. I would say almost all the commerce features are already in place there. Even some integrations in OrderCloud Headstart was provided by I would say 451, but now it's a Sitecore, yeah, Sitecore Cloud. And the cloud infrastructure, so it can be multi-tenant, of course, integration. So Sitecore OrderCloud usually can be provisioned in Azure, but yeah, it's the recommendation is for the OrderCloud is to use Azure for the middleware, but yeah, theoretically, because everything almost ready for that. I mean, some instruments which was built by OrderCloud team is more aligned with Azure infrastructure. And also some guidelines, technical documentation, etc. If you will compare Sitecore OrderCloud with the typical B2C platforms, usually we have any sort of seller which is selling products. Usually it's just one catalog, Can be, of course, multiple catalog, but usually, yes, if it's a common commerce solution, it's one catalog, and users, it's buyers who can buy products, can buy from this catalog. In case of OrderCloud, this diagram a bit increased. So yeah, in the OrderCloud is possible to have suppliers per each. We can have sellers. For the seller, we can have multiple suppliers, and we can, with this approach, what Sitecore OrderCloud provides, it's possible to build complex B2C solutions with this complex, I would say, build complex logic on this flexible solution. So first one, I want to put on the sellers, because it's sellers, we know that, right? So this is who can provide some goods, some products, etc. So the seller is the root node of any OrderCloud solution, whose main purpose is to maintain the buyer's functions. Typical functions include, but not all limited to, managing products and prices, creating and setting approval rules, defining available shipping and billing addresses for buyer users, and so on. Users groups are available to simplify the management of large user base. Sellers can create highly personalized experience for users within each type of company by taking advantage of user group level relationships. Each user can be assigned to multiple groups within the company, and they will inherit all the relationships between those groups and the data associated with them. Each seller organization can contain multiple buyers. They buy products from the seller. There are various ways that buyers can be configured. For example, OrderCloud supports buyer networks. Imagine a franchisee or marketplace use case where many buyer companies have access to the same buying experience. Alternatively, you can create independent login for each buyer company to customize unique buyer experience for each company. Similar to buyers, sellers can contain more than one supplier. They exist on the same hierarchical plan as buyers. However, their purpose is generally order fulfillment. Unlike sellers and buyers, suppliers are not required to create a functional OrderCloud solution. OrderCloud management feature is on this slide. It's, of course, a product information management system where we can manage our products, we can manage product types, product attributes, we can build product variations and options in case if there are many dimensions for the product, like size, color, etc. Categories, of course, and product images, I would say product assets. There's also a feature for user management where you can create multiple users, you can combine them in groups, you can manage them, assign core permissions, what they can do. Inventory management where you can manage your stock data, what is in stock, what is out of stock, what is pre-orderable, what is back-orderable. Also flexible pricing management, something similar like we have it in Sitecore Commerce, that we can build such logic where you can, for example, sell one for $100, and if you will buy two, then you will buy them with any discount, let's say for $10 discount. Order management is almost required option for all the commerce solutions. Yeah, so as well as tax management, promotions, shipping, payment, content management. What is interesting from the development perspective? So once you start work on any commerce solution, always you will get a requirement from the clients that you have to extend based on what customer plans to sell, based on basically the product data. It can, if you plan to build solution for customer who's selling cars, then this model and properties can be different. Out of the box, per each product, I would say even for per each entity, there is any scope of out of the box properties. On this screenshot, you can see this is for the user. So it's a username, password, first name, last name. And one is a interesting property object. It's XP. They call it like extended properties. This is extended properties. It's like a JSON object. It can be complex, but it's also should be configurable from the developers, I would say. There are some limitations for this object. I mean, object must be 8,000 bytes or less. Of course, it should be valid JSON object. If it will be not valid, so then some errors will occur when you will call and try to get your entity, your object from the OrderCloud. And XP should be consistently typed object. What does it mean? It means that if you, for example, add a custom property gender on user and, for example, store string value there, every other user should have gender populated with a string or be null. If you create a user later where gender stores a nested object, instead you will want to go back and update all users. So basically, we should keep it with null value, something similar like in when you have a database, SQL database, and you're creating a table, and not all rows need to have the same value where it's optionally populated, but the structure needs to be consistent with XP for each object type. Platform extensibility. It's a really important topic. All this platform extensibility can be made via third-party middlewares, which we can build and host somewhere, or in cloud, for example, in Azure. For that, Sitecore OrderCloud team provides a starting point, which I will show a bit later, which is already includes some sample scenarios for different possibilities how you can extend it. It can be any sort of job, or it can be any sort of logic which can handle, which will check the order status, for example, and push the data once order will go to the next state, to the next status of any status. It can be configured to push any data to any external client, third-party service, or something like a ERP system, something like that. For that, OrderCloud team provides a webhooks. Webhooks, it's a HTTP callback. It can be configured. All these callbacks can be they can only be triggered by OrderCloud endpoints that write to a database. So for those HTTP, that's like post, put, patch, and delete. And the request body sent to the OrderCloud endpoint, if any, will be passed along to the webhooks that use it. There are two different types of webhooks. It's a post hook. Ideally, it can be used if we have to push our data to somewhere, to another database, to third-party client service, where they store, for example, for the orders, which we need to, once order will be completed, we have to push all this information somewhere. We should use this post hook. And there is also another option like a pre hook. So it means that when we're making requests for, let's say, for order creation, for example, or add to cart, it is possible to validate or even just update the request based on the logic which should be handled this request. Another one sort of platform extensibility option is a integration events. It's a specific area in the OrderCloud. Is a bit similar from the technical perspective to the webhooks, but they're using them for three different types. First one is a calculate an order. So this process can be handled by our custom middleware, because usually clients have quite complex logic where they calculating taxes, for example. Also, the second one is estimate shipping cost, because we can integrate it with different types of shipping providers out of the box. We have this integration with Avalara, and select a shipping method. So for three these types of events, we can use our middleware. So once all our logic, I would say, and OrderCloud is in cloud, and we need to think how we can work from the development perspective on the local environment. Because if we will think, okay, so we will trigger any sort of endpoint in OrderCloud, for example, for order creation, and our endpoint should be triggered from OrderCloud. Of course, we don't have this sort of, let's say, not logic, but way how we can trigger our endpoint locally. What should we use in that case? In that case, we can use Ngrok. Ngrok is an application for which provides a possibility to make your any sort of local endpoint website accessible to the public. So it will generate you special, basically unique URL which you can use on public. So Ngrok usually uses some mechanism to create secure tunnels, and it's popular tool for developers. But yeah, so once we can make it public, I mean our local environment endpoint, it can be possible to provide this endpoint to OrderCloud, and OrderCloud can call our middleware on local environment. Developer tools. What OrderCloud provides. First one is a JavaScript SDK. It's also good SDK for .NET. So it means that if you have to build your solution from scratch. Also something similar like Sitecore provides for Sitecore Commerce this Sitecore SDK. OrderCloud team provides .NET Catalyst middleware. It's a foundation library which you can use as a starting point for creating your middleware. So it's a .NET Core project which is available on the GitHub, which you can use as a starting point. Another one, it's a OrderCloud Headstart. It's a storefront. Basically, the OrderCloud Headstart includes 3 different types of application. The first one, it's a middleware. Second one, it's a seller application. And the third one, it's a buyer experience, like a website on which we can purchase, where customers can purchase the products. And I will focus a bit later. I will show you this post-one tutorial. If you not familiar with OrderCloud yet, it's a good starting point to understand how the entities is how you can make a relationship between entities. It provides a really good step-by-step Postman tutorial, Postman documentation together with Postman request, and during this journey you will create a simple structure for the B2B, sorry, for the B2B. And now time for a demo. So this is how the OrderCloud portal looks like. So once you will log in into the portal, so here we have available all your marketplace. Here, currently I'm using a sandbox account, and we can just check what is provided for this. So here, per each marketplace, it can be contributors, so it can be multiple persons who can work with the same marketplace. Also, we provided access for the team, also assign some data access for the rules based on rules here on the what we have basically to provide an access to different types of features, possibilities. And the most important part, it's a API console. It's already mentioned, so this is how it looks like. First of all, once you will be logged in, you have to here select the context of the market which you plan to use. For here can be available multiple markets, and you can switch between them. Something similar like Sitecore has in desktop mode. I mean, switch between databases. Core master. Yeah. So here, as you can see, a lot of different APIs. It provides this interface, something similar to Swagger, where you can just send your requests. Where you can manage admin users, admin user groups, admin addresses here. Also, it is possible to configure message senders, let's say per different types of entities, basically of structure of the commerce solution. We can even build different types of emails. So we can provide any custom emails. So I did not configure this part in my presentation because it was required to create a AVLR account, but for AVLR account, it's required to get first the paid account, and only after that you will get a sandbox account. And here you can configure you can configure for which events basically we can send it. So let's say we have user invitation, we can provide message subject, we can provide message from email, and the message template name, which will be used and replace this message type token, and we'll send to our to our middleware. So basically on the middleware level, once we provide this URL address, we can get the notification basically and object what for the email template. OrderCloud team already also provided all these template emails there, but I will show a bit later. Also, we can build different API clients per each application, where we can configure everything here, even with access rules, who can use those endpoints and all these restrictions. And also we can integrate checkout integration event, which can be used. Some integration events, yeah. So webhook, George mentioned how it can be created. So we have here this some sort of page where we can create our webhook. What we need to provide for the webhook, of course, should be name, if any description, and a secret. Secret here will be used to provide any sort of unique string. This string will be used for authentication with your middleware. You have to share this secret string with your middleware application, and once OrderCloud will send the request to your middleware, it will build a hash, compute hash value based on the body of the request, and you will have a possibility on the middleware side to validate this hash on the body to just make sure that it's OrderCloud sent you this request. The next one, it's a payload URL. This is URL to your middleware endpoint, and like a checkbox here, like if it's a pre-hook or post-hook. So by default it's a post-hook, but it can be changed. And also API assignments, who can have an access to this API. Some configuration data, if it's needed, we can also provide some additional information which will be included into the webhook payload in JSON, like a key pair value. And of course, triggered events, by which event we can trigger our middleware. So here, huge list of different events. Let's say let's select here orders, and here we can view operations. So as you can see, you can choose different options here, like create a new order. So yes, once we here selected that it's a post hook, not a pre-hook. So then we can select here when this endpoint will be triggered, once order will be created, or once we set a billing address, or cancel an order, complete order. It supports some difference also to trigger by events which are responsible for some statuses, or split order, etc. And of course, we can evaluate roles. Yeah. The next one is extended properties. So here you can see based on what all these types, what should be, I would say, how should be filtered, or because OrderCloud also provides the possibility to use filtering and faceted search for the entities. As far as now, it was built on top of basically they use Elasticsearch for that. And once even you extended your properties, you can add index for your new added properties which you added to this XP object. Then they can be indexable, and it's provided in API how you can get them from the index on the storefront website and on the seller web application. And here some different buyer types, users, how you can call this API here. You can click on this hamburger menu and you will see different types of what you can do with this type of entities. You can get them, create a new one, get a single user, delete, etc., etc. Also, it provides a possibility to partially update an entity, or it can be completely updated with a pull request. So yeah, here we have our user groups, but let's say for buyers, it looks like so we have this default Headstart buyer here, which we can use also in some users group. Can search for them. This is how data represents here in the database. Quickly responding OrderCloud. This, I already mentioned this how it was extended here. So just sample structure which I have created in OrderCloud. You can see how it represents there. Also suppliers, catalogs, for example here. Okay, search for catalogs, but it's more for developers. You can have owner, can search for our products. In catalog right now, there is only one product in the catalog, like iPhone, with some description and with one custom property for facets, like supplier. It will be used on the buyer website and the storefront, where we can see, we will see it later. Here, images, basically, images are stored in blob storage, Azure Blob Storage. So this is how it looks like. And many more options for different types of entities which you can manage here. So now we'll be switching into the Headstart. Headstart is open source project on the GitHub. It contains 3 different types of applications: middleware, for buyer and for seller. Middleware is .NET Core application, ASP.NET Core application, and buyer and seller. Those application was built in Angular. Here you can see all these details, how you can basically set up this Headstart. Sitecore OrderCloud recommends to use this Headstart as a starting point for the customers, and of course you can extend it based on your preferences, because it's already has a complete solution for B2B. Also, it's required to configure some additional Azure resources like Cosmos, database, application side, etc. here. Okay, so now I will show you how this looks like. So let me just copy already prepared one user here. Yeah, it's a buyer user. And password. So once I will log it in here, so it will show me this website. When we navigate to the products here, we can see our product which I have created. We can navigate to the product details page, and this product details page will show you that if you will some supplier details, also name of the product, SKU, price, quantity, which can be changed here, and it will already show you some promotional messages. So because here I have configured some pricing, description, etc. And we can add our product to the basket. Let's edit. We can click navigate to the shopping cart page. Here some details where we can even update and change our quantity here, or even remove the item. Or we can navigate to the checkout flow. On the checkout flow, there is 4 different steps. We can apply a promo code. We can select location for this order, basically buyer location, and as a shipping address for this user, buyer user. Next one, we can save and continue. And now we have to select our shipping options and configure that we can ship for free because don't have our configured. And yeah, let's click this save and continue button. I already paid with my credit card, so for this purposes, and as you can see here, this information is already part of this credit cards drop down. So we can use existing one. It means that the OrderCloud, we can store tokens, credit card tokens, if we already paid with a credit card. And I will provide CVV code here and click create. So yeah, order is ready for submission. Also, we can provide some additional text here, and we can click on this submit button. So once order will be submitted, we will be redirecting to our order details page with all the details regarding this order. What we purchased, what the taxes was added to this order, what is the shipping cost, etc. Everything is here. Also, we can download this invoice. Once the invoice will be downloaded, we can open it, and this is how it looks like. Yeah, so also here some interface was provided for my profile. We can edit our account details here. Also, we can provide multiple addresses and manage the addresses. Some credit cards, which we can delete if we don't want to store this authorization token, which we can use for the next order, etc. So everything is here. Okay, this is what about the storefront application. The second one is a Headstart admin website. This is how it looks like. Let me just copy the name, the password, and we will sign in as an admin user to our seller application. What we can see here, products. So we can manage product here. Is basically available, but of course currently I'm logged in as an admin user, so only sellers can change the information and configure everything here. We can see orders, sales orders. We can see all those details. Also can download invoice, some buyers, suppliers, seller admin users, and if it's a mid case. This is what is available from the admin, where you can manage or you can create multiple storefronts here. So make some storefront active or not, some token information, etc. Let me just make a logout and sign in as a seller. So what is available from the seller perspective here? From seller perspective, now we can create new products based on the product types. Now, as you can see, it's available to manage some text here. Also, we can change the product type. Basically, we can manage all this product data right here. Also, tax categorization, if free shipping is available or not. Product description is here. You can see how it will look like in this preview. This is rich text. We can manage everything here. We can configure price bricks. We can add one more price, and let's say that we will sell it for $88. Let's say, and we can add this one. So new price was added. Here are some product filters, variations. In my case, I didn't create a variation, you just a regular product without variants, but it's possible to create new variations here. And here you can upload images and any product documentation if it's required. Also here we can see these orders. We can also create shipment, but shipment in my case is not configured. We can just mark it as back orderable. Switch between different types of orders. So this is order which I created a few minutes ago. Some Hermas interface, supplier addresses. You can create supplier address if it's required. And of course, users which are added for this supplier. This is basically how this Headstart looks like. Another one is a OrderCloud.NET Catalyst. So it's already mentioned, it contains like a starting point for your implementation, where you can look like what is available there, how you can build your custom logic, how you can use caching, how you can listing page, etc., etc. Some different integrations here. So even if you navigate, you will see some examples of the base job, how it can be implemented. So, and you can reuse or extend this one. And the last one, this is a documentation from the Postman. This is exercises which you can follow one by one, and with where you will build any sample organization like B2B custom solution, which is selling coffee supply company. So you will go through all these steps and create your own structure in similar way. I think it will bring it will bring more understands how and what is the relationships between different entities and how they can be configured. Some useful resources are listed here. So everything is on this slide. Of course, on the Sitecore Slack, you can already join 3 different types of channels for support, for announcements, where OrderCloud team announce some releases, and OrderCloud Headstart, where you can ask questions in case you struggling with Headstart setup. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question. Thank you for your presentation. First of all, it's very interesting. Just in your opinion, if we compare OrderCloud with Sitecore Commerce, is it easier for customization or not? If you need to inject your custom logic.
In both cases, you can build your middleware. In case of commerce, you can extend this commerce engine with a .NET Core, and in case of OrderCloud, also you can use the .NET Core application. It's difficult really to say. I think once I will have a client which would build his commerce solution based on OrderCloud, I can provide this. I can answer on this question, but for now it's really difficult to say. I wouldn't say that even Sitecore Commerce it's really easy to extend based on the customer requirements. So both, but yeah, both of them I think easy to extend when you have, of course, experience if you have worked with them. But in case of OrderCloud, for me it looks like it's not so complex. But it's a bit different approach if you compare Sitecore Commerce and OrderCloud. So in your mind you have to just be ready to understand how it should be extendable for Sitecore Commerce, how you can do the same, but in case of OrderCloud. So different approach, but yeah, I don't think it's so really complex.
Okay,
we have to try.
I will do. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you, Andrei, for your presentation. And I have a question about the scalability. You know, that's do you know it's possible just to scale or scale it out if it needs? I mean, that's because it's really different, as you mentioned. And what about the scalability? How huge the OrderCloud could be? Could support the e-commerce systems, for instance, if we're talking about millions products. As for instance, I have been involved in a project that we use like already 10 million products, and how is it possible to scale out this?
OrderCloud, unfortunately, we cannot scale because it's everything is. I would say no, better to say that OrderCloud documentation says that in case if they have some sort of monitoring of the resources and how fast your market will grow, they provided some information. They will scale automatically the OrderCloud. So they will be responsible for scaling. So you don't need to think how you should scale. I don't really know how will it be, how will be any sort of notification from the OrderCloud once they will see that the current resources is not enough for the current market, and they will ask. But it also can be depends on the licensing. Based on the license cost, and yeah, for now for me it's like a black box. I don't know how it really works.
Okay.
But in case of the middleware, of course, there are multiple ways how you can scale your middleware. So like regular and .NET applications in cloud.
Okay. Yeah.